Welcome to the episode of In Conversation With, and today I'm going to be talking with everyone, with my invited guest, Ziqing, and I'd like to introduce him to you with his own self-introduction. Tell us about yourself.
Sure. Hi everyone, my name is Ziqing. I'm a China student and I'm currently studying at NTU. I'm studying computer science and business.
Yeah, and you are taking a double degree, right? And
Yes.
I suppose you're too humble to say you should be one of the top students in your cohort.
The fact is I'm not.
And you know, the impression that I have about Chinese students, and I think there is a study found in Bloomberg that I read recently, which is quite, they made this study about Chinese students all over the world in all the schools. They have this phenomenal find, and they actually came up top as top students in the world as a foreign student, because they're diligent, they're intelligent, they're focused, and they always give the best results, the best academic results. So I'm so honored to be talking to Ziqing. A couple of questions. You know, the world wants to know about a young person like you, and you know that globally, the world is really moving at a breakneck speed. And you coming from China, you would have seen the changes that the world you live in, your parents live in. They're all changing it at such a breakneck speed, and yourself, you're moving. You're gonna be graduating and be having your career, and you're gonna make decisions for yourself. You're gonna have a great life ahead of you, which is so different from your grandparents and your parents, who probably came from a different world than you. Could you describe a little bit about how these changes are?
I think China has been changing at a really fast pace. I still remember that when I was young, me and my parents, we all lived in a free accommodation, but it is very small. It's like 10 square meters, 3 of us, with a shared bathroom. And I still remember when my grandparents and my uncle, they came from countryside to visit us. All of us sleeping on the floor. And at night, when we want to go to the toilet, we have to wake everybody up, otherwise we're going to step on somebody's body.
And you know, you having talked a little bit about your description just now, you could actually just juxtapose the world you're in Singapore, and you being a student who's been here for 8 years, and now on the verge of exciting career in business data analytics, and you know, this is one of the most in-demand careers in the world. How do you see yourself and your life now that's so different from your parents that you've just described?
I think one of the characteristics of our generation of Chinese, or maybe our generation of youth, is that we're very tech savvy. So we are comfortable with all this technology stuff. While my parents, for example, my father, he can't understand, and he refused to understand the technology thing. So he will be more comfortable with he believes in the classics stuff, the classic music, the classic literature, like writing and reading paper, stuff like that.
Yeah, and you know, because even in Singapore, we're seeing great changes. You see that in the news, of course, you can see a lot of malls or shopping centers. A lot of retail shops are closing down. All the old brands are closing down. They're taken over by online retail, like Alibaba, AliExpress, Shopee, Shopify, and you also have in America Amazon, etc. Even in Singapore, it is moving in such a change that is unpredictable, unstructured, and no one knows how the world is going to be even in 5 years, let alone the governments. Even the people do not know. So I would think that this change is even much more prevalent in China, because China before that was communist and everything was centrally controlled, right? We've got state-owned companies, state-owned businesses, and now it is leading the world in AI. And then it is it is churning out the world's best top data scientists, and they all are from China. So when you go back to your hometown, is there a cultural shock when you go back to your home now that you're living in Singapore?
I think it's very interesting because every year, usually I go back to China once a year, and every year when I went back to China, I see something new, evolving. I used to be online shopping, then it came to the mobile payment, it came to the shared bike, came to the food delivery, which is so convenient. All of this leaves a very big impression on me.
Yeah, and having said that, now that you are living in the current changes, do you see there's going to be more changes as you move forward?
Yes.
How do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years' time? Besides being a father and having children, how do you see life is going to be? How do you see the world is going to be around you? Yeah.
I think the world is definitely become more and more unpredictable. And for example, we have adopted so many new technologies, like the autonomous vehicle, which is developed at a very quick, very fast pace.
Yeah.
And also
exactly.
China is moving towards blockchain, which I think it will have very profound changes on the finance.
Yeah, finance especially.
Sector in China.
Are you prepared for more changes to come, and how are you preparing for these changes besides academic education? How are you mindfully preparing yourself for the future?
I think I'm very lucky because I choose to study computer science or technology related courses, which means that compared to other peers, I can understand more about this kind of technology revolution, and it really helps me to comprehend what is going to change.
Yeah, and now the mantra in the world, in the media, is about the fourth industrialization. So I can see that you are actually one of the catalysts in this fourth industrialization. Tell us exactly what is fourth industrialization? Is it like this world is becoming digitized? What is this?
There are many versions of the fourth industrial revolution. According to my sources of information, majorly there are 2 points of views. One is that the fourth industrialization has already taken place. It is led by the artificial intelligence technology, and also the more about the internet technology, digitalization maybe.
Yeah.
And the 5G, of
yeah.
course.
And China is already leading in the 5G, right?
I would say together with US.
Yeah.
In terms of artificial intelligence. But
yeah.
There's another view that maybe the fourth industrial revolution hasn't reached yet. So the new places will be taking place on new materials. Maybe new technologies in computer.
I see.
And other stuff. Yes.
So I believe when you were young, you never thought of one day you would be working in Singapore.
No.
And you'll be leaving the country. And now that the world has presented to you this opportunity, and Singapore has been your host country for the last 8 years, do you feel that you are fortunate living in this era, and do you also feel that you have a larger role to play when you do eventually choose to go back to your hometown in China?
Yes, definitely. I feel very lucky for being living in this era and have this kind of opportunity so that I can become what I am right now.
And I understand that there is a Confucius saying, right, about the educated must give back to the world, must give back to the home. What is that, and how does it apply to you? Is it something that you really feel about it?
Yes, because the Confucius teaching is basically say that educated, the more able person, have to shoulder the responsibility to make the people to live a better life.
And what is that in Chinese?
Actually, there are many versions of the same idea. The one is the people has to 治国平齐家平天下. 平天下 basically means to make the world a better place.
Fantastic. So do you feel that that is also part of your calling?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, how do you feel it?
So because I think in China there's still so many people, in fact in the world there are still so many people live in poverty and they deserve a better life. So maybe I can play a part of it to
Yeah,
elevate
I
the
would
situation.
really hope that a young person like you from this millennial can go back to where you are, or a place that you choose, that you could actually contribute and give back, and to help the less fortunate, because we have been given such great blessing and such great fortune to have the life that we have. A couple of more questions. Now that as you grow into the future, I'd like you to rank the importance of these few items. Which is more important, right? From the topmost to the least. A house, a job, position, money, passion, influence on social, influence on the community. You can rank.
Can I say anything?
Yes,
besides
anything.
this?
It doesn't have to be this. I just want to know, like, what's your priority?
I think my priority would be the family. So in the future, my parents and maybe my future to be wife and my children. Yes, that would be my first consideration.
Second?
Then following that, I think passion is very important. So I want to work on a job which I really enjoy and I feel the meaning inside it.
Yeah. Is there a particular kind of job that you're looking forward to? Is it in data?
Actually, the job I really want to do is to become a teacher.
Why?
Who teaches the poor children, the children in the rural area.
Yeah, and I know in a Chinese society, the teacher is held in a very high position, and they're very well respected by the community. And in the Chinese culture, sometimes the position of a teacher it's even higher than the parent, and the parents will give due respect to teachers. Am I right?
Yes, I think it's because the tradition, the Chinese family really values education.
Yeah. Do you see what do you see in 20 years' time, the future of your children? How do you see the future of their lives, and how do you see the world is going to be in 20 years? Since you are a data scientist.
I think they will definitely live a better life than mine. Will have a better start.
Do you have any idea how the world is going to be? Because a lot of governments, a lot of people have no idea how the world is going to be in 5 years or 10 years. Have you any idea?
Well, I didn't put much thought on that. I think the future world is going to be more diverse and more liberal in a sense. More and more stuff will be tolerated in the future.
Wow, that's a very good thought to end our conversation. Thank you so much, Ziqing. I hope to continue our conversation about other aspects about China, about the juxtaposition, about the changes of the Chinese society and the Chinese economy, and how China has really become the country that has changed and lifted 1 billion people out of poverty, or almost out of poverty. So this is the aim of the Chinese government, to lift everyone out of poverty in a couple of 2 years. So, you know, in your life, I see the superimposition or juxtaposition of many lives of your grandparents, your parents, yourself, and your children, all happening and collapsing in your generation. And I'd like to explore that in our next interview with you. Thank you so much, Ziqing, for this.
Thank you.
Thank you.